Hey everybody, this is B&J Productions. I'm Jacob Beatles, and this is Brandon Avery. And today we're actually going to do something different, and we're going to talk about some basketball today. We're giving our East and our West predictions. Happy Thursday! And so, starting off, we're going to go with our NBA East predictions. And starting off for my number one seed, I've got the Boston Celtics. I think with Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward back healthy, along with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, a lot of good players for the Celtics. They're going to transform this team back to the number one seed and bring back the glory days to Boston.
Well, I think that is an opinion that almost everyone in the NBA sphere has. But in my opinion, I think the Bucks are a real dark horse to get first this year, first seed in the playoffs. Cause I think Giannis is one of the best players in the NBA, and he'll show it this year with his stats. They'll catch up, and they have a lot of support.
Yeah.
I think that all that's going to come together this year. I thought it was going to happen last year, but I think it'll happen this year.
Yeah, I've got the Bucks down a little bit lower than I do. You have it, but for my number two, I've got the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi Leonard traded this year. I mean, I think he might be a better fit than DeMar DeRozan, but I think DeMar, what he did for Toronto was amazing, and Kyle Lowry's still there. Serge Ibaka, Jonas Valanciunas, a lot of good teams, a lot of good players, along with Danny Green came over from the Spurs trade, and I think they're going to be an exciting team for that 2 seed, and they might even push the Celtics to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
For my number two, I have the Celtics, of course. There's no denying that they're going to be a really good team this year. A lot of good pieces, a lot of depth. Pushed LeBron pretty hard, even whenever they had everybody hurt.
Pushed LeBron, pushed him to a 4-game sweep.
Yep.
But yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, number three, I've got your Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis, if he has an MVP season, he stepped his game up a lot last year. Chris Middleton, Michael Brogdon signed Brook Lopez to play that center position and replacing Greg Monroe. And I think they have a lot of good young pieces, and if Tony Snell can elevate his game at the shooting guard position, they'll have a really great season.
Number three, I have the 76ers, and I like their team. I think the process is going to culminate this year, and they're going to have a good year. I like Joel Embiid. I like the 2-time Rookie of the Year, Ben Simmons. I just like the team that they put together, of course. I think Zaire Smith is a good add. You can bring some athleticism off the bench. Markelle Fultz should be good this year. I think that they can really pick up the slack where the East lets off.
Okay. Yeah, for my number four, I've got the 76ers, and I think 1 through 4 can easily be switchable, except for maybe that 1 and 2 spot. But I think Zaire Smith, if he's healthy at the start of the year, he'll be incredible. He had an incredible freshman season at Texas Tech, and he did amazing for that team. And I think Ben Simmons, he'll win a second Rookie of the Year, and Joel Embiid's just going to get even better. And definitely Dario Saric and Robert Covington, 2 huge pieces for that team. If Markelle Fultz can elevate his game, I could easily see the Sixers at that 1 seed.
Number 4, I have the Raptors, because in my opinion, I think that the Raptors actually get worse with the trade. I think that it was a dumb trade. It was just Greg Popovich trading Kawhi to somewhere he didn't want to go in spite. It didn't help either team.
Yeah.
I think both teams get worse than they would be this year.
For my number 5, I've got the Indiana Pacers. I completely forgot where the Pacers were, but I think Victor Oladipo had an amazing year last year, most improved player. He played incredible, showed everybody that, hey, the Pacers had a good side of the trade with the Thunder 1-2 when they traded Paul George to the Thunder, and I think he's going to be amazing, and there's a lot of good players there, and Tyreek Evans signed, and I think has a chance to win 6th Man of the Year playing behind Victor Oladipo, and I think it's going to be an incredible year for these guys too.
I also have the Pacers at number 5, and I think very good team. I think they need a few more pieces around Victor Oladipo to elevate them to a great team, but they could be an underdog this year and really wreak some havoc, maybe take a top seed out of the playoff.
Yeah.
Take a number 4 out of playoffs.
Yeah, and the 6 through 8 positions in the playoff predictions for me and Brandon, they're a little crazy out there. Both of us took a little bit of risk here. For my number 6, I've got the Detroit Pistons, and I think Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond have one of the best front court duos in the East right now, and I think if they can bank on that and Reggie Jackson can actually play some basketball for once in his life, then this Pistons team can be pretty good. But a lot of things have to happen in order for that to work.
Number 6, I have the Wizards, and I don't think you can ever count out the Wizards as long as they have John Wall. John Wall is a beast, and once they add pieces around him, get good management that can actually do anything, it's going to be scary.
Okay. For my number 7, I got the Miami Heat, and always almost kind of log for the playoffs, even though they're not too great, not too good. James Johnson, Goran Dragic, a lot of just kind of mediocre players out there. Hassan Whiteside probably going to be his last year with the Heat if they don't trade him, but I mean they're always a consistent team. And Eric Spoelstra, he coaches the team pretty good, and I think they'll reach in there for that 7th seed.
Number 7, I have the Pistons. And I think they're a good team, not great. They still have pieces to go before they're great.
Yeah.
But I think they're taking the first steps into becoming a good contender in the East.
Okay, and my number 8 seed is kind of a shocker. I did not put the Wizards in there with the inconsistency with Bradley Beal and John Wall in the playoffs last year, and who knows what's going to do. Who knows what Dwight Howard's going to do. Could easily elevate him or can easily make him way worse. But for my number 8, I've got the Chicago Bulls with Zach LaVine and Jabari Parker and a lot of young kids like Lauri Markkanen, and I think they're going to have a little bit of a hard start at first, but they're going to get cooking later on in the year.
For my number 8, I have the Heat. I almost forgot who it was because this spot is interchangeable with like everybody else in the East.
Yeah.
But I have the Heat in this spot. I think that they have a good year. They usually have a decent year no matter who's there. Hassan Whiteside is a pretty good center. I just see them taking the 8th spot this year.
Yeah, definitely. And now for our West predictions. The West is kind of a big mess except for the top 2 spots. And LeBron moved to LA this summer, and I think it's going to be a crazy West this year. For my number 1, I've actually got the Rockets. In the case of Golden State, they don't much care about the regular season. They care about the postseason. So I don't think they're going to really care who goes in, DeMarcus Cousins going to get some rest, and kind of a cheat code for that starting 5 when DeMarcus Cousins gets back. But I think Houston Rockets with their new acquisitions and Marquise Chris and Carmelo Anthony, they kind of step up a little bit. Clint Capella got his new contract, and I think they're going to be good.
Number 1, I have the Warriors. Of course, that's given. They have an all-star starting 5. They can probably beat the West All-Stars and the East All-Stars if they wanted to.
It's not good for the NBA.
Nope.
Fantasy draft, everything. It doesn't matter to me, but just kidding. But yeah, for number 2, I've got the Warriors here too, and I think that it's a cheat code. There's nothing much to say. Everybody's kind of disappointed in what DeMarcus Cousins did this summer, but I think they're going to be almost unstoppable.
Number 2, I have the Houston Rockets, and I could honestly see this year 2 teams being 70-win teams with the Rockets and the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be close, but I think it's going to be the Warriors in the end getting the number 1 spot.
Okay, for my number 3, kind of a shocker here, I've got the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, incredible players. Donovan Mitchell took that team to new heights last year, and when everybody was healthy on that team, they were the best defensive team in the NBA, and I think they're going to step up their game. Everyone stays healthy. A lot of players are going to do good, and I think they're going to take that 3 seed away from LeBron and LA land.
Number 3, I have the Lakers. I think they're a great team. I don't think they're as good as Houston or as good as the Warriors, but you can never really count LeBron out. There's no telling what he can do in the playoffs.
Yeah. With
Lonzo and Ingram and all them.
Yeah. For my number 4, I've got the Lakers too. LeBron and JaVale McGee, Lance Stevenson, Rajon Rondo, a lot of older guys coming in, and LeBron is beneficial. You saw what he did to that school up in LA now, and I mean, he's an incredible ball player, the best of the century, and I don't know if he's better than Jordan, but he's still incredible, and he's going to elevate this team, and I think they might have a chance to push the Warriors.
For my number 4, I have the Jazz, and I think they're a great team. They're young. They're still developing. They could be a top team in the future. Right now, I have them as number 4, which is pretty good for a really young team.
Yeah. Number 5, I've got the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think that they're going to step up the game from last year. Barely kind of got into the playoffs a little bit. They got the 5th seed, I'm thinking, and the Trailblazers kind of outplayed them for that 3rd seed. But I think Paul George and Russell Westbrook are going to fit together way more, especially since Paul George got that contract. Steven Adams, sorry, Andre Robertson is back, and I think they're going to be incredible, and they have a chance too.
Number 5, I have the Spurs, and while I don't know how DeMar is going to fit, but you can never really count out the Spurs.
Yeah,
on
you
being
can't
bad.
count out Greg Popovich from getting to the
He's
playoffs.
always going to find some Europe player, some G League player.
Yeah.
The only iffy thing is this year is if DeMar DeRozan can buy into the program
And I think
sell
he
his
can.
soul to Greg Popovich and his personality.
Yeah, I think DeMar DeRozan might fit, and that moves into my point. Number 6 for me is the San Antonio Spurs. I think DeMar DeRozan is very angry with the Toronto organization, and I think he's going to try and do something here with the Spurs and try to prove to people, hey, he's not just some guy you can trade off, franchise player, and I think he's going to try to prove some things.
Number 6, I have the Thunder. Good team, not great. Russell Westbrook is always good, but I don't think they're good enough to do any damage in the NBA this year. I see them just as a 6th seed this year.
Yeah. Number 7 for me is the Denver Nuggets. Gary Harris, a lot of young guys over there. Will Barton, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, and I think they're going to be a young team that can actually surprise some people, kind of like the Trailblazers of last year and the Jazz of last year. And even if Michael Porter doesn't play this year, I think he's an amazing player, but if he doesn't get healthy, the Nuggets are still going to be good. But watch in a couple of years when he does get healthy, they're going to be right up there with the Rockets and the Warriors.
Number 7, I have the Timberwolves. I think they're going to be a good team.
The Timberwolves?
Yes, Timberwolves. Because of all the acquisitions that the Wolves have gotten, basically made their team into the Bulls Part 2.
Okay, I see where you're going. I thought you were just being dumb.
No.
Okay, yeah.
I will never be dumb.
Well, that's debatable, but continue.
That's all.
Okay. For my 8 seed, it's basically a throw-up, kind of like the East 8 seed, but I'm going to pick a surpriser here, and I'm going to go with the Memphis Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr. was drafted, and a lot of injuries last year for the Grizzlies. Had a lot of people just almost crying about their season, and Memphis is a tough organization. David Fizdale now coaching at the Knicks, but, I mean, they're going to be good. Marc Gasol's back. Mike Conley's back. Mike Conley is one of the top 10 point guards in the NBA when he's healthy, and I think they, along with Jaren Jackson, they're going to play good.
Number 8, I have kind of a surprise. I have the Suns at number 8 because I think that Devin Booker's really going to step it up this year. I think the only problem is their bench. As long as Devin Booker plays good, I think I can see them getting the 8th seed.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do anything yet until they add more pieces.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and that's all we have today for this Thursday, September 13th, and this has been B&J Productions. I'm Jacob Beatles. This is Brandon Avery, and we'll see you tomorrow.